We are live. Hello there.
Yay!
Yes.
How
How
you
Hello,
you
doing,
doing,
hello.
Dr.
Wilson?
Muff?
I'm doing okay. Can't
All
complain. Got
right.
in just a little while ago, had some hot dogs, so I had some food in me, and then jumped on.
Dirty water dogs?
Dirty water dogs. Well,
All
Right.
my
right.
brother cooked them, so he
Oh,
boiled them
okay.
first and then put them on the grill.
Ah, dirty water dogs are the ones you get from the street carts.
That's right.
Right.
The
Right.
Sabrettes. Don't trust anybody else. Not that
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
any better, to be honest with you, but I like to keep it classy.
so here we actually see them put the dog into the frying pan. So we know it's new.
Ah,
Ah,
Also, our sausages are made entirely of pork. Well, they're
Captain
made of
Finity is.
parts of the pig, not necessarily the flesh.
right. We have either the dirty water hot dogs or Papaya King, which I
Ah,
also enjoyed immensely because I do prefer the grilled hot dog over dirty water dogs,
yep.
and that's mainly because in Fordham Road in the Bronx, there used to be a place that grilled them. I do not recall the name. It wasn't Papaya King. It was whatever it was there, and it was more of a type of a meal my mom and I would get while we were in Fordham Road because that's like a shopping area. And when I was a kid, we found ourselves there a lot, and so it's like I have that core memory of having it there, enjoying it grilled, and then compound that with the way the hot dogs used to be made at Woolworths,
Ah,
and they were a lot of fun as well because the bread was different. The bread was toasted. The hot dog itself was grilled, and it had a particular taste and snap to it because of that.
roller dogs. That's the name I just heard recently. They're the ones that are at like a gas station or a 7-Eleven that are on those heated rollers
Right, right. Yep.
that spin around. Roller dogs.
Then I
It's
am aware of Red Hots,
I've
which are
never had a
more.
red hot.
So those are more of a Chicago staple. I believe it's Chicago.
Yeah.
And so that's their own type of hot dogs. I once went through like a rabbit hole and realized that almost every area, every state, and a lot of cities have their own signature hot dog and
Ah,
how it's made. And I had the idea once long ago that if I was to open up a restaurant, I think I would open up a hot dog themed restaurant where you could order the hot dog of where you came from. So you can have basically the dogs made like like I would track down the
all
recipes
those different ways.
and get all the different ways to make hot dogs. And again, it was one of those, that would be an interesting thing to
I'll
do.
never do it.
I'll never do it. I don't have the finances, but it was like that's one of those ideas. It's like, yeah, I'm not overly interested in that, but I was like, that would be something I would do.
Hello, Comics
Welcome, welcome.
Progressive, Donald. And hello there, Sleepy. How are you doing? He loved my recent Steranko video. I liked that one too. That's one of the comics I got this week, which is I don't know if you guys saw the video. I picked
Yes,
up
I didn't see the video, but I did see it was part of your haul.
I got this idea because I was let me show you the actual comic, which is not in great shape. It's kind of wavy, but it's solid. Little
Are,
yellow.
are all the pages in one piece?
All the pages are in one piece.
Then it's in great shape.
The reader's
It must have
copy.
gotten water damaged or something by the waviness.
Ah,
Cost me $13 on eBay, shipped and taxed, and it came not even in a bag, uh, between two pieces of cardboard. I think it was sold by a bookstore and not a comic store, like a
ah,
comic seller. But I happen to have a trade paperback of this. It's in the trade paperback, and I just happened to be flipping through it, and I noticed all of this stuff that Steranko was doing with the horizon line and space and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I want to make a video of it, but I want to see. I decided I wanted to get the original comic because I wanted to see the original page turns. And sure enough, in the trade paperback, there were a couple of different page turns. But I had a lot of fun making that video and got pretty good. At least one person was like, "Ooh, I'd like to see more of those." And I'm like,
Yeah.
if only comic book artists were doing as much as Jim Steranko was doing in this issue.
Yeah.
Because there's usually not a ton to talk about. I'll have to take suggestions, see if I can figure out what issues are particularly good where artists were doing something special and see if I can figure out what. Evening TikTok. That might be a lot of different hot dogs, yes. And
Oh, yeah.
in Wilson's
Completely.
restaurant.
And just talking America, North America, it doesn't even go to like brats and anything that might be overseas.
Oh, yeah. TikTok says, I believe Red Hots are big in the northern fringes of New York State as well. Watertown area, perhaps Plattsburgh. Okay.
Okay.
The Portuguese hot dog is very simple. So the sausage is made of pork.
Mm-hmm.
You can use whatever you want for bread. Although a white bread carcass is good. And the only thing it goes on top is a mustard. So nothing else. You do not need anything else on hot dog.
TikTok says there's a place north of Albany called Hot Dog Charlie's that does mini dogs with their own meat sauce. Oh, that does sound good.
Yeah.
I still say some of the best pizza I've ever had was up by Albany. In the must have been like late 80s, early 90s. I went and visited a friend who was going to the Albany University, the state school up there. I don't even remember what it's SUNY Albany. There we go.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Which is a really big school. And there were like there was pizza joints all around that place, of course, serving the students. And she brought us to some of the good ones, and they were really good. There was good pizza. There's good pizza up in Albany.
If I remember correctly, there was an Albany pizza place that was basically run by people who did it in New York City.
Yeah.
And went to Albany and was like using all the New York City ingredients, and I think maybe even shipping in the water.
I can't vouch for all the pizza places, but the ones she brought us to were excellent. All beef nasons with natural casing. Maybe a Green Jean Day Master of Kung Fu would be fun to analyze.
Yeah.
That's I'm going to write that one down.
Near the end of the run. I think either the next to last or the last one that they did with where Fu Manchu dies. That'll be a good one. Yeah.
Spoiler. I didn't even know he was sick.
he choked on a hot dog.
I was thinking maybe one of the a Frank Miller Daredevil. I'd have to figure out which one, possibly. I'll have to look. Albany State. There we go.
What?
The pit near there had great wings.
What about a Barry Windsor Smith?
Are we staying with Marvel, or we're just
anyone
picking artists? Because I think his stuff with like over at Valiant, and then he was doing a Conan like book, but it wasn't Conan.
So it has to be more than just the drawing. That's the problem, I think. I have to think of something with Barry Windsor Smith where he's doing something with the storytelling too. I'm not saying he never did. I just have to
Weapon X. Because is there like finished stories too?
Just one issue. It has to be just one issue.
Okay. The X-Men story with Wolverine and Lady Deathstrike, maybe.
Who is that?
The X-Men story where Lady Deathstrike gets turned into herself.
I don't even know if I know that one.
Okay, so it's X-Men 205, I believe.
Conan 24.
Sure. I mean,
X-Men 204, did you say? 205?
205, yeah. It's the one where Wolverine is feral throughout most of the issue, and Katie Power from the Power Pack is a guest star, and they're fighting Lady Deathstrike. Because that's where Spiral turns Yuriko into the proper Deathstrike with all the bionic enhancements.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. There's an Iron Man one as well where he's on the cover with all the
I know
where
that
he's
cover.
tied up, and then, so that one I remember was visually a good one. I don't know if he did anything different in his style, as you're meaning. Yeah, that's a good one to search out because there is so many kind of singular things where he was experimenting. I don't remember how much he did in Machine Man.
He was doing a little
If he was
something
just doing the
different
covers
with
or
Machine Man. Trimpy did the pencils on.
Trippy did the pencils? Okay.
Windsor Smith only drew issue number 4. He finished 1, 2, 3.
Weapon X, I think he did some. That's one I've actually read, but not in 20 years. I think he did some interesting stuff in that too. So that's definitely a good one to think about.
Yeah, because I tend to like his stuff when he also does the coloring.
Adam's X-Men might be a good one.
Well, his first story is probably the best one because, as I keep saying, it's the best visual representation of telepathic powers I've ever seen.
I'll have to look into that one too. Hey guys, TikTok Friar Tuck too. Hey. Hello there, Missing More.
Hello.
Tit Goblin just sent me a message. He's opened up a Portuguese bottle of wine he had lying around, which he once asked me about, and I told him that the place where they make the wine is like 10 miles from me.
Nice.
I knew you were going to say that. Captain Finity, is he time traveling again? Did you make it to the comic shop today, Wilson?
As a matter of fact, I did. And so I picked up 2 books that I have here. I went looking on the rack and nothing jumped out at me. I was looking at covers. I was looking at number 1s.
Right.
To see if there was anything there that was like, okay, let me give this a try. I did see beneath the trees was on the there was a nice cover for that on the rack. I was like, that's neat, but I don't want to start it in the middle of it. Right. And I did see a number 1, and I started to pick it up. It was from Image. I don't remember the title, but on it said second printing, and I put it back. I don't know why, other than maybe I am still a comic book snob. I
don't want any second printing.
I want the first printing first, but it was more of like, if it's the second printing, how many issues already is it in? And I didn't want to buy the first issue and then find out, it's just being reprinted. So it's like, okay, I would rather start a brand new book right there and then. And then other than that, I was tempted to get the Godzilla Heist trade paperback.
Okay.
Then I remembered, I got a 25% off coupon if I order it off online, because it's only through the website. So it's like, maybe that'll be the book I'll order offline. So I looked, didn't find anything, and the regular Marvel and DC stuff, just like I have no desire for any of them. Yeah. So I didn't grab anything off the rack this week, which is strange because I usually find at least one book to pick up. But what I did have waiting for me there was a couple of issues from Skybound. And so we have G.I. Joe issue number 17. They're in the middle of the Dreadnought War. Part 5 of 5. And that's all I can tell you about that.
Have you read any of the Dreadnought War?
None of it at all. None of it at all. And the other book, the sister book from Skybound Studios, Transformers.
That Dan Mora is drawing now?
I think so, because it has I think his
name's at the top. Yeah, Dan Mora. I
Dan
had
Mora.
heard
Okay.
that.
All right. So I don't know if that's his signature or if
I don't
that's
know
a
whose
different
signature that is.
artist. Covers. Oh, there's actually quite a few different cover artists.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but it's a nice cover.
Yeah.
Who's
And you
this?
mentioned
I
you
wish I could tell you
mentioned
what's happening in there.
you mentioned Beneath the Trees, where nobody sees before. And
Yes, it had a
the character from that is appearing on a DC Comics cover with the Joker.
really.
Yes.
Is that
The
part of that
bear who's the
KO
serial
universe?
killer. I forget which what, do I have it written? I almost ordered it, but then I was like, I don't want to spend $5. Oh, it's DC KO Boss
Okay, yeah.
Battle #1 by Patrick Horvath.
Okay.
And it's the Patrick Horvath is the guy who does Beneath the Trees where nobody sees. And I guess the DC Boss Battle, maybe the Joker's in it. I don't know, #1. But it's like the two of them standing there with knives about to stab each other, I think it was. But I was like, oh, that's amusing. Boom Studios DC crossover cover.
Yeah.
I would have got it if it was $2. But there was too many other good things to put on my pull list that last week that I went, do I want to get this one for the cover or this one I want to read?
Right. Did you receive, Jared, the Facebook article?
Oh yes, the Godzilla and Romeo and Juliet.
Yes. So continuing our Godzilla in literature, there
Tom
is
Field is
another
doing that
series.
one too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like he is, at least one of the covers.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to read the article fully. It's like I saw it and it's like, oh, let me send this to Jared and read it later. And I never did. And I haven't been on Facebook since, so I wasn't sure if you had reacted
I
to
think
it.
he's doing it. Yeah. The final order cutoff is until March 2nd, though, so it'll be a while before it comes out.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I
and
usually only order. I could order at any time. I'd have to tell my comic shop, but usually when final order cutoff runs around, I click on it.
and
Except I forgot something this week.
what's that?
My Roy, my LCS owner, was like, I ordered something for you on spec because I think you forgot it to order it. I was like, what? It's like Matt Kint's Space Scouts, which I ordered the first 2 issues of the 3-issue series, but somehow didn't notice the third one was coming out.
Oh, okay. It's good.
But
He
he
was
ordered
looking
it
out
wrong.
for
I'm
you.
like, yeah, you can put that on my list. Go right ahead. He's like, I figured you ordered the first 2. Why wouldn't you order the third?
Yeah, sometimes these things slip through.
Yeah. And what it is too with those, I was choosing because I can just put the whole series with one button click on my pull list. But with those, I was choosing the covers because like the first one had a Sergio Aragonés cover I liked. Then the second one had another cover I liked.
That makes sense.
But somehow the third one slipped by me. I'm not sure how. I study that list pretty closely every week in my email.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. So far we've got, let's see, Jean Day, Master of Kung Fu, especially issue where Fu Manchu dies.
Mm-hmm.
Some Miller Daredevil, Conan #24, X-Men 205, and one of the Adams X-Men, especially the first one he did.
Yeah.
Whatever issue, because it's got the psychic. I'll see if I have that one.
Yeah.
So I've got a few of the Adams X-Men.
Yeah. It's also the first appearance of the living monolith.
Okay.
And I think the transformation of the living pharaoh into the living monolith is also very well achieved storytelling wise.
I always liked the living monolith just because he grew real big. He was always a cool visual.
And he was
very
nuts.
true.
Who drew?
I mean,
there was a living monolith graphic novel. Wasn't
yeah,
there?
it was Mark Silvestri.
The Return of the Living Monolith.
All right. I can't remember where I first saw him. Maybe in the Fantastic Four in the 70s, late 70s.
Or maybe Marvel Team Up. There's a Marvel Team Up.
There's a
Up,
John
yeah.
Byrne Marvel team up.
I
Yeah.
had him in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I definitely hadn't seen those X-Men, the Adams X-Men, by the time I saw the Living Monolith. I saw them somewhere else first.
Yeah, I saw him in Marvel Team Up when I was buying back issues,
Right.
and that was during his the short John Byrne Spider-Man run. And then didn't see him again until the graphic novel. That was one of my early graphic novels too.
Eric tells us they just announced more Godzilla Monsterpiece Theater, 4 one-shots starring Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater presents Romeo and Juliet. So Wilson showed me Romeo and Juliet, but I didn't. Have they named the other 3? No, are they all Tom Scioli? Do you know? So that definitely, I enjoyed the Great Gatsby one.
One of the stories that is on the cover for Romeo and Juliet is Robin Hood.
Okay.
So there's at least maybe a Robin Hood backup in that one.
Did the old black and white British TV series, The Adventures of Robin Hood, play in American TV?
That may have run on PBS.
Do not know.
I remember hearing about a Robin Hood series, but I'd never seen it.
Yeah, there's also one in the 80s, but that one's American because it starred the guy who played Will Scarlet in Men in Tights. So the guy who played Will Scarlet in Men in Tights is Robin Hood in the American TV series. There was one in the 50s, and I saw a funny story the other day because the guy played music in bars, and some girl asked him to play the Robin Hood theme, and I had just been after the Kevin Costner movie, and he thought, okay, and he started playing the theme from the 50s British TV series. And she, what is that? It's the Robin Hood theme. And she wanted him to play the Bryan Adams song.
Dope Comics 4455. Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
The only thing people remember from the British TV series is the theme song. Nobody actually remembers any episodes, but they just remember. Oh, but the fact that Morgan Freeman's character appears in the movie is because they introduced a black Moor in the British TV series near the end of the series.
So they're like, "Hey, we can do that too."
Yeah, but the only thing people remember is the TV theme, which goes something like Robin Hood, riding through the glen. Robin Hood with his band of men. You know,
when is the last Robin Hood comic? I can't even think of any.
I don't recall reading a Robin Hood.
Plenty of Archers with Hawkeye and Green Arrow, but
but no Robin Hood himself.
You would think that would be a natural.
There's been a few modern remakes in the last, I think I have 2 or 3 different ones in the last 20 years, but nobody read them.
Yeah, I don't recall.
That lazy moron Kevin Costner. I have an English accent. That's Robin Hood Men in Tights, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't think of, despite all of the Archers in comics, there's no actual Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
there used to be an Ivanhoe comic in France, but
I remember there being a classic comics Ivanhoe. That's all I remember.
The French had a long-running TV series. It was made by Italian artists in southern France.
There was a golden age of Hollywood Ivanhoe movie. That's all I remember watching that one.
That's where the archery scene comes from. The one where he pierces his own arrow.
Oh, that's from Ivanhoe the movie? Okay.
Yeah. Because Robin Hood appears in Ivanhoe the movie, and everybody copied that for every Robin Hood movie since.
I don't think I've actually sat down and watched a full Robin Hood outside of the Kevin Costner one, a Robin Hood story.
I've seen the classic one with Errol Flynn. That one's good.
I don't know if I've seen the whole thing or if it's just because it's within the culture,
Yeah,
even appearing in Looney Tune cartoons.
right,
Did I actually watch it, or do I have a memory of all the clips
right.
of it? I don't think I've actually sat through a whole thing of old Robin Hood. I know I didn't watch the British series,
Well, go watch
and
it someday. It's a good one.
I think it's a good idea for me to go watch it. Yes.
Let's see. Eric tells us so far they only have named the first one. No info on Scioli is doing all of them. Okay.
All right.
I want to give that
Wait,
Godzilla Gatsby.
He's one of them. What if any of them is Pride and Prejudice?
It's possible.
That'll be very
Pride
boring
and
Godzilla.
Prejudice and Godzilla.
I think they already did Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, right?
They did that one, yeah. And they did Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters.
DC had a 10-cent Robin Hood comics in the 50s. All right. I don't remember that one at all.
Never came across that.
Was it just a movie adaptation or an ongoing series?
Oh, it was ongoing.
Yeah, okay.
And I saw the Disney version of it. Now that I think about it, where he's Fox, is it?
Mm-hmm. I finished reading this giant omnibus this week. This is Mystic.
Wow.
Damn.
43 issues from CrossGen, now owned by Marvel.
You could use that to flatten the Nick Fury cover.
And in the back, there's lots of stuff from like miscellaneous stuff, like ads and some process stuff and stuff they printed in the trades, and things like that. This is only the second cross-gen omnibus that Marvel's made, and I don't think they have plans for any other one. looking that like all their omnibus plans for this year, no cross-gen stuff. So this first one was Sigil, which I really enjoyed. Luckily, listen, the two omnibuses they put out so far were two series I didn't collect. So it's like, I get to read new stuff. But it's mostly, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Ron Mars wrote 1 through 17, and Tony Bedard wrote 18 through 43. Brandon Peterson drew most of the stuff up through issue 20, except for a couple issues here and there. Steve McNiven an issue, Kevin Sharp an issue, Fabrianzo Fiorentino did 5 issues, Al Rio did 2 issues, and then Paul Ryan and Paul Pelletier each did an issue. Then Aaron Lopresti did 31 through 43 minus a couple issues. So he was like Brandon Peterson was the regular guy with occasional fill-ins. And then Fabriano Florentino took over after him. Not quite as good as Brandon Peterson. You know what's weird? Brandon Peterson, like I meant, Brandon Peterson's issues are, especially the early ones, are like a tour de force of drawing pretty women. But for some reason, I still don't get into it as much as other. I don't know what about Brandon Peterson is just he's really good. But for some reason, I'm just like, towards him. I mean, just looking at the pages and his drawings, they're really good. But I'm kind of like, But he was better than the second guy, Fabrizio Fiorentino. But Aaron Lopresti, I really was impressed by his stuff at the end. And I actually looked him up, and he's one of these guys who did stuff here and there for Marvel and DC after this, but never really caught on to a book for a long time. So I know I've seen his name before, maybe in cross-gen books.
He did quite a few stuff at Marvel.
Yeah, he did. But I don't think he was ever on like a book for a run, more than a few issues. And now I think he's doing Kickstarters and things. And like I went to his Instagram, it was mostly Marvel and DC pinup type stuff on his Instagram. I
Right.
thought his work in here was a lot better than his work on Instagram, because he was obviously trying to people please on the Instagram stuff, drawing pictures of Batman and Hulk and whoever. But I
Right.
think his stuff at the end here, but also this was interesting because at the beginning, CrossGen said what they were going to do is try to service underserviced genres in comics. That's why they put out Sword and Sorcery book, a sort of science fiction book, a military book. They're all sort of superhero books at the same time. Everyone's got superpowers.
Right.
And this one was the magic-based one. And I think it was aimed at women more than dudes, because a lot of it, especially the beginning stuff, it stars two sisters. One's a magic user who's just going to become the head of this guild on this. The whole world, Ceres, I think it is, Cires, is the name of their world. And the whole world, magic, everybody uses magic on the world. And there's like 8 big guilds. And each guild master talks to the spirit of some ancient guild master to give them wisdom. And her sister was about to become a guild master. But then, as happens in all the cross-gen books, someone comes by and gives the main character a sigil that gives them power. And her power stole all the spirits of the 8 guild masters. So now they're in her brain. And all the guild masters are pissed because they lost their spirits who give them extra power. And so a lot of the beginning part was about her relationship with her sister and these guild masters fighting with. And then we got it tied into the larger cross-gen universe with the First is another book from cross-gen. And in the cross-gen universe, the First are the original people. They're all they have their own world. And they're all superpowered, and they're the strongest superpowered people in the whole galaxy or universe or whatever it is. So some of them got mixed in, and then when Aaron Lepestre came on, was CrossGen did this thing when they were in around issue 30 for their original books, where they were like key issue. They put out a key issue. They kind of started a new storyline, and I got to say, I think the last storyline in here, like from issue 30 to 43, was my favorite of the book. And then I get sad, as I always do at the end, because they were 3 months away from finishing the whole story in Negation War when they went out of business.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you. It's like, is there a ending to that book, or do you get any information like where they were planning to go and stuff?
Most of it was really just any other comic. It had its story arcs, that its beginning, middle, and end stories. So it wasn't like it was really all one big story.
Right.
It was like there was at least 5 or 6 story arcs in these 43 issues. But the overall cross-gen story arc was going to end in Negation War. So the last issue of 43, she's going off because they canceled all of the original series to do Negation War, and then they were going to relaunch everything.
Right.
But they still have 3 issues of Negation War to go, so they never got to relaunch. They never got to finish it. They never got to relaunch, which always makes me sad at the end. But this is pretty much complete. I mean, there's nothing really you have to read besides this if you want to read some good stories. But I have to say, I think this left me colder than a lot of the other ones. But like I said, it is good because I'm not much on magic in comic books. I don't know about you two, but it's always so vague and ill-defined that I find it tough.
You know that if they try to use real magic, most people don't understand it because it sounds stupid. There are guys like Grant Morrison who try to use magic. It's something intellectual, and then people don't understand it. So the only thing that they know how to do is get a magic wand and point and shoot.
Right. It's all point and shoot. Like in like a sword and sorcery book where there's magic,
Mhm.
it's either rare, like in a Conan, it's fairly rare, but then you know exactly what the wizard's trying to do. He's going to send this giant boulder at Conan. Whatever. You always know exactly what the wizard's trying to do. And even in books that have magic in them, they can go in depth into how the magic works and what's going on when they're using the magic. With like Mystic, it's all visual. It's kind of like superpowers in movies, like all the superheroes' superpowers in movies are all the same. It's just kind of visual. So that leaves
Yeah,
me a little cold.
yeah. Most of the magic stuff that I've ever really read were superhero magic stuff. You know,
Yeah,
either Doctor Strange, Zatanna,
right.
um,
And even that's
there w-
usually pretty vague.
yeah, there would be some magic stuff, but you know, I read the books of magic, don't remember a single thing about it. You know, so
It was
to me, it's like it didn't really.
it was trippy. It was trippy, but without taking the drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess it was missing missing the drugs was the problem.
Yeah, no, because the Neil Gaiman miniseries, the magic is not visual like that. It's like
Right.
things happen, and they're not supposed to happen, which is a
Mhm.
bit different from what went on in the Hellblazer comic. Because even with Hellblazer vary, because you have Constantine sometimes doing parlor tricks, sometimes doing some sort of misdirection, something that slightly broke the laws of physics.
Yeah.
And then there are times when you have him casting spells and things blow up, and there's magic, there are light shows.
Yeah. I think that
He-
I think the Constantine magic was all like set up.
Mhm.
There was
Yeah,
some
but
big magic thing being set up and he had to stop it.
mhm.
Yeah.
As opposed to like Mystic where there's two, magicians fighting each other. So all the magic has to be instant. Like you said, point and shoot.
Right, because that was not in the beginning with Hellblazer. It was not that there was a toll to it. That's why usually something bad happened to
Right.
Constantine's friends because they had to pay somebody had to pay for Constantine using magic.
Mhm.
And there's also something so the magic needs to get to you.
I think now that I'm thinking, I think magic works best when you're not like fighting each other with magic. Someone's using magic to get what they want, and you've got to use magic to stop them. But there's not like a direct battle of beaming rays at each other,
Right.
unless
And
you're
the
Steve
few
Ditko and
books,
Doctor Strange
yeah, that's true too. And
making weird things happen.
there were novels that I read that had magic, and then you would have all the magic comes at a price type of thing.
Yeah.
And there was a book series I was reading where the best thing that a magic user can do is fight another magic user, and that would be the stalemate while the other battles are going on. Because if there's a magic user, they might actually take out most of the war and the battle. So there's got to be another magic user on the other side,
Right.
and all they do is entertain each other by throwing things at each other, and then it
Right.
lets the rest of the battle go on, type of stuff. And the only other thing that I like about magic in comic books was the limitation it would have on certain superheroes. Like, that Superman is weak
Mhm.
to magic. And I always thought that was a good concept
Right.
for a Superman book to introduce some other element into it.
Mhm.
So it's like, so I've read, most of the other stuff I said with magic was always kind of comic book related, superhero comic book related.
Yeah. Captain Finity says arbitrary vague powers are an issue. Yeah. Same with Star Wars. Rey now has force healing. How convenient for the plot. They said
Hmm.
instant healing was the greatest thing ever to happen to superhero comics.
Oh yeah.
They can now we all use their blades, claws, and fangs on each other, and it's okay.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Which
Eric
is
asked,
another one. Like in the beginning, Wolverine's healing factor took a while to
right?
actually
Yeah,
heal you.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
he had to
now
leave and heal. Now it's like instant.
Yeah. Yeah. Spider-Man had it as well, but again, it took him about a week or so to get over a broken arm. It's still a fast healing, but not as fast as what they do with Wolverine now.
Eric asks, do they do any romance or funny animal books? As I recall, they're underserved genres in the 90s. Well, you're off by a decade. It was the early aughts when CrossGen came out, but I don't think
no, they didn't.
they didn't quite do any funny animal books, but they had a talking monkey book. What was it? Way of the Rat. That was it.
Way of the Rat, yeah. But no, funny animals. Although there were funny animals, but you had to go look for them.
Matter of fact, hold on. I remember now because there was one in Mystic, a Scritch, I think it was this like cat, dog, squirrel creature. Each person who was given the sigil had a sort of familiar with them who had something to do with the sigil. They were there to guide, but they're all sort of like funny animal, not quite funny animal because it was realistic illustration, but I forget who, but anybody who had a sigil also had this talking animal with them to give them advice. They keep the Scritch is the name of the animal in this, that they're the breed of the animal. Everybody was kept going, a Scritch that can talk? But no real fun. I'm trying to think of what else they had. That the Nobodies, that was a comedy book. Oh no, most of it was adventure
Nobodies.
of some
Nobody?
kind.
No, you mean the Unfunnies? That was not a comedy book.
Which one? The Unfunny? What was the name of that? It wasn't the Unfunnies. It was
the Unfunnies
something.
was one of Mark Miller's first when he came up with the Miller World concept.
Was it for CrossGen?
No. In fact, the first wave of Miller World comics were published. All of them were published in different publishers. I bought the Unfunnies, and yeah, I shouldn't have.
This was one I can't remember. Only a couple issues came out near the end of CrossGen. It was like they were supposed the normals, something like that.
Oh, the crossovers.
The crossovers, is that
yeah,
it?
Yeah. It was a normal all-American family, but turns out that all of them had secret identities, and the other members of the family didn't know. And one was a superhero, one traveled to a mystical world. I can't remember which was which. One was some sort of vampire.
Okay. That's what I don't know if I may have bought the first issue of that.
Yeah, each member of the family, the dad, the mom, the dad, the son, and the daughter, they had their own genre, but the other members of the family didn't know.
Eric says, I thought CrossGen started at the end of the 90s. I don't think they started publishing till around 2000 or 2001. I'd have to double check. I'm not 100% certain. And I don't think they have the original publication dates in there. I think I looked for them, and I was like, oh, since Marvel owns it now, they didn't put originally printed by CrossGen or anything like that. I think they just had their dates on it. Let me double check. In the indicia, where you usually get the original copyright dates. Again, since Marvel didn't, it just says copyright 2024. There is no original CrossGen copyright. Oh, here we go. There's dates. Mystic #1 was July 2000, and it ran until January 2004. So it just missed the 90s. Just missed. I got a sketch card this week too from eBay.
Ooh, what'd you get?
This is from it's by somebody named David Lee, and it's from the Cherry Delight series, which is a Cherry Pop Tart by Larry, what's his name? Welts? Is it Welts? Wells, Welz. And I guess this was the series that came out a couple years ago. And I just found it on eBay. Most of the drawings were sort of cherry related. But this one here was, I'd call that Mobius influenced.
Yeah, I agree that there is something Mobius about it. I like it. It's really
Yeah.
nice. But there's
That looks
I
like
feel like
standard.
there's
That looks like standard Jim Lee to me.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the eyes, Jim, but definitely the drawing looks a little more Mobius because there's.
And that's
if it was
not
Jim
how
Lee,
Mobius
he
draws.
shaded it.
No. That's not how Mobius draws technology.
Okay.
Nothing Mobius about that. No.
I lean
But
towards
$13,
Mobius.
I think it was. I was like, all right. 23. David Lee 2022. I don't know who David Lee is, but I liked this drawing.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good drawing, but that thing is very Wildstorm.
You know what? Maybe you're right. I did read a lot of Wildstorm stuff. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Wildstorm. But yeah, good stuff. I mean, like I said, most of the other stuff was more like this.
Right.
Not as good as this, but so I picked up that one in my looking for sketch cards to get. Sometimes I just go on eBay and see what they have.
That's fun. It looks good.
Looks good. Oh, let me put it back in its case. The one thing I picked up off the shelf this week was a facsimile edition of New Gods #1. And first of all, I was like, it felt thin to me. Which is only 24 pages, the whole package. I was like, for DC Comics, was New Gods #1 only 24 pages? So it made me, I don't have all of the New Gods, but I have a random New Gods #1 here. And sure enough, it was only 24 pages, but it's no facsimile. They changed the colors. They must have, I got to figure, since this has been printed a few times now, they must have redone the colors, but they corrected stuff. Like,
yeah, you know that Jack Kirby always making mistakes.
The color of Orion's uniform is different. This was the color, this crazy color scheme was his color on the first issue, and then this is what it looked like inside.
Oh,
so I'm
come
guessing
on.
they corrected it.
Even the Starfield doesn't look the same.
It's the same, it's just printed completely differently. It's just the printing technology has changed so much.
It looks so
I was looking at it. It is actually the same, just printing technology isn't. But there's stuff like, let me see if I can find my copy was originally owned by Phil. Let's see. Where is one strange change they made? It's like they were changing background colors and things. Like, this giant exploding rock is green.
Right.
This giant exploding rock is now blue. Why? There was a couple of times. See if I can find something else for you. This statue is a brown. This statue is an orange with yellow highlights. Why?
So they're interpreting the images and they're trying to interpret what they think would have been the original. because
That's what I thought too, but
if you're accounting for the yellowing to make it from green to back to blue,
I mean,
maybe.
no, because let's see.
And I don't think they should have changed the cover because he's in space, so the lighting would all be weird.
That one's got a brown background, and down there we have that blue halo, little blue halo around blue background. Now we've got a completely light blue background and a completely blue background without even the halo.
Yeah.
And that chair back there is a light blue. And here it's a green.
So they took a classic. Yeah, they took a classic knockout and then decided to break up the images to make it clearer when it wasn't needed.
Look at this. Lettering on a white background. Lettering on a yellow background. Bright yellow. That's a little strange. Light in the background here, the light purple gray went to a blue. So there's just lots and lots of examples like that in here where they weren't even interpreting. It was just, they were just changing some color. Like they must have, when the first omnibus of New Gods came out, I don't know, 15 years ago. Oh, those are the gray ones, right?
Yeah.
I still have some of those. Those ones are, whew.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give this away because I have the omnibuses now.
Right. I think when the omnibuses first came out, they must have recolored them, and they didn't care that much about perfect accuracy, which happens. But those ones, have you ever seen those ones, Wilson?
Yeah, I have that one in the black and white ones.
Right.
Yeah.
All they did was like take the red plate and print it.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything to try and make it look like it was original. They just took one of the plates and printed it.
Yeah, and it's like, how bad was the black plate that they just didn't print the black plate?
Yeah.
You know, did they have color holes on them? I don't know. It doesn't make, other than it's probably all they had. Right. And they went with what they had.
Well, I don't think it was all they had. You have to. When did that one come out? In the late 90s?
Yeah, 98. They did this. They did this. They did Forever People, and they did Mr. Miracle, but they never did Jimmy Olsen.
Back in the 90s, Jack Kirby was out of fashion. I think they did it that way because that was the cheapest way they could get it out.
Yeah.
That was just, they're like, hey, let's try this, because nobody. I think a Jack Kirby.
No halo in the black and white.
Let's see that. Nope, no halo. So I think they just got that out because they wanted to get it out, and that was the only budget they had for it.
Yeah, and I don't know why they wanted to get it out. I mean,
because their lawyers demanded.
The Fourth World book at the time was kind of a cult hit.
I'm guessing they wanted to get it out because somebody there was a big fan of Jack Kirby. Like today, you have a lot easier chance of getting a Jack Kirby book printed, a DC or Marvel. But back then,
this was also around the time that Orion and Bard joined the Morrison's JLA. So having Orion on the cover could maybe work. Yeah. What that doesn't explain is why they put out a reprint of the Forever People.
And Missing Mars says, not a facsimile in his humble opinion. I agree. It's not really. I mean, they don't have the color the same. It doesn't seem to really be a facsimile to me. But like, I don't think they even checked at this point. At this point, they got the color in their digital library. They're going to print an issue of it. They're going to the library. They're picking out the colors and they're printing it. No one's checking for.
And you can sell a 9.0 Superman #1 because nobody cares.
Yeah. Nobody cares what trouble I've seen.
You know that in Tintin, Hergé completely redrew a lot of his original comics. But I guess that's okay because it's the original artist,
right?
And he wants to make everything look the same, because there's you can see the evolution going on between from the first 3 albums to the 4th, and then to the 5th and the 6th. And I think the first 8 albums were, I think it was the first 8 albums that were redrawn. And now they all kind of look like what at the time was modern Hergé. But if you can't, redoing your own comic is not the same as redoing your own movie. It's yours. You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see why not.
Well, people can still get mad, as with that Neil Adams Batman that he redid. Did you ever see that?
No.
I don't know when I cannot remember what the name of the book was besides Neil Adams Batman, a big hardcover collection of a lot of his stuff from the 60s and early 70s. And he went back in and reworked a lot of it, especially the George Russo's inked issues, which he didn't like very much. But a lot of fans who know those issues very well don't think everything he did was an improvement.
Okay, there was a Millennium edition of New Gods #1, and the cover colors are the same as the original, but I don't know what's inside because I don't have that Millennium edition.
Well, I might have it. I'll have to look sometime this week. I have a bunch of those Millennium editions, but I don't know which one. I wonder if I have it written in my database. Because I should have put them all under Millennium editions. I don't know if I did or if I have them on their individual. Let's see here. Let's go to Millennium. Do I have Millennium editions? I do have them all in one. I've got Action Comics 252, Detective Comics 395. Where is Young Rome? I do not have any of the Kirby stuff.
I have that Action Comics, and I have, because that's for Supergirl,
right?
And I have all the All-Star Comics #3. That was actually fun. First JSA. It's not really a JSA story, because all of the JSA stories from the Golden Age, they're like, you get all the guys together in the meeting room, and then they all break up into their individual stories, having heroes work.
I've got Plop #1.
Ooh. That's not something that you hear every day. I've got Plop #1.
Do you have any of those Millennium editions, Wilson? Because I picked mine up all around Marvel. So
I don't recall if I did. I like Kirby, but it wasn't something I searched for.
No, the Millennium editions were just reprints of various DC books. Like there was all sorts of key DC issues reprinted in the Millennium edition. Batman, Superman's first appearance of Supergirl, stuff like that. So it wasn't just Jack Kirby.
I don't recall.
They came out around the millennium, around year 2000, and did they have the covers that were a frame? And then they have the original cover in the frame?
Oh, were they the ones that had the gold stamp on them?
Yeah.
Yes, they had a gold stamp on them.
I did get those. Yeah, I'm almost sure I kept them all together. I got them and kept them all together, like a little subset of all the other subsets, and I kept them together. And I would have read Action. Yeah, I would have read Action Comics. I would have read
Right.
Dark Knight. I would have gotten the Crisis one. I would have kept the Flash. Gen 13 did one. JLA.
There was a Gen 13 Millennium Edition?
Yeah, it reprinted the first
Wow.
issue by the looks of it. Where did it go? Gen 13 number 1, February 1994, first issue of the miniseries. Oh, that's the date of the not the
Oh, yeah,
release. That was the original date. Sorry,
right.
of it.
The Millennium Editions were around the millennium. I
Yeah.
don't
So
remember
in
when.
2000 and
Of course.
2001, and there's a good chance a lot of them ended up going to the comic book shop. But as you said, they would have been lying around at Marvel.
Yeah,
and
I
I would
picked
have
up.
had
I know
gotten.
that's where I got mine. I
I would
picked
have
them up.
gotten a good chunk of them. Did I get Plop when it came out? I did not. I did not. I seen the cover before, but I
Right.
know I never read it, so I did not.
Is that a Basil Wolverton cover on Plop number 1?
Let's see. Art. It says art by Basil Wolverton.
Okay.
It doesn't really specify if that was the color, if that was the cover artist. You know what? His name looks like is on the lower left of the cover. The cover I found, it ends up being like a thumbnail, but it looks like his signature is on the cover. And they printed out quite a few of those books for the Millennium. Sandman within it, Sensational Comics, The Shadow.
Yeah, Mike's Amazing World of Comics says there were 62 Millennium editions.
Wow.
Wow, and there's a few that I just never saw, like the Young Romance comics. Of course, they did Watchman.
I have the Young Romance one, first DC Romance comic.
Yeah.
Flash 123. I have this one too.
But it's funny. I occasionally see people buying them I've occasionally seen people buying them over the years on YouTube, but they usually only get them like, oh, I ran into this one, so I got it. I've never seen anyone collect all 63 of them.
Probably but they're too disparate. You know, let me read the publishing order for them. Okay, so Action number 1, Brave and the Bold 28, Detective 27. Then Sandman number 1. So you're already breaking up the flow because you have first Superman, you have first JLA, and you have first Batman, and then you have first Neil Gaiman Sandman. Which, while it might be something that some people are interested in, it's not something that you want to collect with the other 3.
Right.
So it's already breaking up. Then you have Green Lantern 76, Showcase 4, Crisis 1. And Tales Calculated to Drive You Mad number 1, which once again, while it might be something interesting to own, you're not going to collect all of them with this one.
I'd even say the same thing about Crisis too. That's one that I don't think a lot of people are dying to get.
Yeah, because then you have Man of Steel number 1, which is of course the first modern Superman, and JLA number 1, the Grant Morrison one. So
it is also strange on what they're picking because, you know, some of the stuff are continuations. How hard is it going to be for someone to, you know, if that's their first time they're reading a particular book, you know, are all of these at least available in trade paperback? If somebody stumbled onto it,
I don't even think that's what it was about. I think it was just about publishing first issues that were important to DC Comics. Nothing else.
Right. But of course, you're not going to collect all of them.
Right. You're not going to buy Crisis on Infinite Earths number 1 Millennium Edition and then go out and get the rest. That's not going to happen.
Right.
You're going to buy Crisis on Infinite Earths Millennium Edition because you're a Crisis on Infinite Earths fan already.
Yeah. And it feels that, I would like to reread that, but not dig through my issues or
I'll buy that one.
mess
Was
up my
cool. I
original.
like.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't really want to reread Crisis Number 1
No,
in a
you just
Millennium
want to look.
Edition.
You just want to look at the pictures.
If I
Right.
want to reread Crisis Number 1, I also want to reread Crisis Number 2 to 12.
Like I said, that's how small the subset of people who would want Millennium Edition of Crisis Number 1 is.
Yeah, the Golden Age and Silver Age reprints, I can see people wanting
Yeah.
to buy them.
Oh, I've never seen that before.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a gold stamp on it, so this is going to be expensive one day.
Yeah.
My grandson loves comics. Here's a gold edition Superman #1. I bought him the first Superman.
I bet this is worth big bucks, probably $5.
Yeah.
It says it on there, collector's item classic.
So of course,
I see people collect those Marvel 25th anniversary covers all the time.
Yeah,
because they're visually interesting,
That's
and
what
in
it is,
a way, they all fit together aesthetically because they're all from the same time period.
yeah. And I do like them. I enjoy them. I got most of them. I know there's just a handful that I never got. So of course those are the ones that are the hard ones to get. But at the same time, I enjoy those more so because there's a unification of
Right.
those covers. And they're fun, and it's like, back when we kind of did it again where it's just only the heads, which was funny, because DC did that, and my favorite one's Marvel's Deadpool going, "Hey, it's my head." So, and again, that was fun, which I think was drawn by Pond Scum. Now that I think about it.
Another comic I got this week. Die Loaded #3. Kieran Gillen and Stephanie Hans. And this is the one that's about people trapped in another dimension that's based on a role-playing game. So they're all role-playing to save their lives. And this is volume 2. Volume 1, I think, was 21 issues. And they eventually escaped Die World. And now other people, like, who are related to them, kind of, who were peripheral to these people who got trapped in this world in the first volume, are now in this world. I don't like these covers very much either. Like a pinup with a weird 20-sided die design behind them. I got to say that they don't do anything for me. But really, really good series. Very well done, emotional series. And once again, this one's about magic, but the magic is pretty well. It's not people battling each other with magic generally, and the magic is pretty well explained. Like, one guy is a rage knight, which means the madder he gets, the more powerful he becomes, and he's got a weapon that talks to him and is constantly trying to make him mad. We've got another one who she can get favors from gods, but then she owes them stuff. And so the powers are pretty well defined, and they're not like fight each other with magic kind of powers. But very good. I'm enjoying this volume a whole lot. I've bought a lot of Kieran Gillen written stuff, so it's fun. Fun. He wrote one of my favorite things, the Uber series that's about superheroes being invented at the end of World War II. That one's a really good one. Yup, Rage Knight, so the Hulk. Except the Hulk doesn't have a sword that's constantly trying to get him mad. And certainly the Hulk didn't invent getting mad. rage night. And one of the interesting things too is in this world there are sort of, I guess you'd call, I forget what they call them. They're kind of like zombies. They're sort of the low-level creatures, undead creatures you'd fight in the like a D&D game. But it turns out those creatures are everyone who's ever died in this world. And they're all, since time and space work differently on this die world, they're already there. So there could be somebody who dies in this world 200 years in the future, but they're already there as like a zombie who they rise up at night sometimes. And one of the people who was in the first series ran into her daughter as one of these undead zombies. So she spent the time trying to protect her daughter, who was a zombie, trying to figure out what to do, because now she knows her daughter, who she left behind, who was 16 years old when she left behind, now sometime died in Die World. And she's just completely wrecks her, of course, that her daughter's a zombie. Time traveling zombies. Yep. So now one of the main characters in this volume 2 is the daughter alive. And one of the characters who's back is like, oh my God, she's going to die. What do we do about this? So they're part of the drama and tension that's going on. And also, the way they escape this world is all the party members have to get together and say, we want to leave now. But first they have to find each other, and then they have to want to leave. Like one guy didn't want to leave because he was dying in the real world. So if he went back, he was just going to die. So it's a really well done book. Fine, the first one is available in trades and such. Eric, now I want to know, want a Marvel book where the Hulk and the Thing are D&D style clerics focused on healing people.
Hulk, heal.
The madder the Hulk gets, the more the Hulk heals people. Oh, did you guys see that Exquisite Corpse is going to be made into a movie or something?
No, I have not.
That's been the hot indie book for the last year. James Tinian and Michael Walsh. It's a couple other people. I just saw everybody getting all excited about that. That's the one I've been saying all year is the indie book that mainstream people have been buying about the 12 corporations who run the USA and get together every 5 years with their assassins and take over a small town, and the assassins all fight each other to see which family gets to run the country. It's a fun book, but not the deepest, which is probably why so many mainstream people like. It's like assassin versus assassin fights. Have you ever read any Kieran Gillen written stuff, Paulo or Wilson?
Yeah,
I'm sure I have, but nothing
He's done
popped up.
He's done a bunch of stuff for Marvel. I think he did Young Avengers, right?
No,
It wasn't Young Avengers?
no. Young Avengers was
The Jimmy Chung issues?
yeah, those were.
He may have done a run on them later. He may have not been the original Young Avengers guy. Then I have a vague recollection of him doing Young
It was
Avengers.
Helen Heinberg. I have a Thor by Kieran Gillen trade paperback.
Okay. I've like never read. I thought he did some Young Avengers stuff. I read, but I don't know. I thought that's where I first learned his name, but I don't really know. It's been so long. The Young Avengers are pretty old now. When did that come out? The original one, like 20 years ago.
Something like that.
Boy, time keeps moving forward.
It just keeps going.
Man, it's relentless.
Okay, it did Young Avengers, but it was in the 2010s.
Okay. That must have been when I read it then.
Yeah, it was volume 2. I didn't read that one.
It was pretty good, I remember, but I think I got rid of it. I had like those were my hardcover days when I was buying cheap collected editions.
And of course, he did Once and Future.
Yes. Was that him, Once and Future? I know he did Uber. I remember Dan Moore on Once and Future. I remember Kieran Gillen writing
The Wicked and the Divine.
Yeah, Wicked and the Divine. I think he did that with Stephanie Hans, right? Did she do that one?
I don't know.
I don't know.
With X-Men, it's been in and out of X-Men depending on the year and whatever they're doing at the time. Yeah, I was a Thor. I don't. He did the Angela miniseries after Marvel bought it.
Ah.
Some Star Wars here. Darth Vader. And Dr. Aphra. People like those, I think.
Yeah, people like that Star Wars stuff. I remember Dr. Aphra being hot.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted themselves some Dr. Aphra.
Love is love. I did once page in that thing. Yeah, odds and ends. Few odds and ends. There was some Warhammer stuff before he got famous.
Like I said, Uber, I think, might be my favorite of his, but Die is getting close behind. So,
Warhammer, of course, because he's British.
Is he British?
Yeah.
I can't tell anyone's British from. They don't have an accent when they write. Here's my weird story of the week. You know, when I do my videos, I always show off my top of my printer books, where every week I pull 2 books out of my collection and put them on the top of my printer just so I can see their covers. Just so as I walk by, I can look down and see a couple of comics. Well, last week, I said, I want a Peter Bagge hate comic. So I went over to my Peter Bagge section, and I pulled out issue 15. I was like, oh, I got 2 copies of issue 15. So I was like, all right, let's go with issue 15. So that's what I did. And then after I took it out, I noticed my issue of 15 is signed by Peter Bagge. Peter Bagge 94. I have never met Peter Bagge. I'm not an autograph guy. I usually don't get things signed anyway. I checked my database and sure enough indicated that I had 2 copies of 15, but it didn't even mention one of them was autographed. I looked through, I've been on my blog, I've been writing what comics I bought this week since 2006. So I searched through that for Hate 15. No mention of it. I have no idea where this autographed copy of Hate number 15 came from.
Does it say when you bought it?
No.
Okay.
Just says that I have it.
Because if you bought it in 94, they could have had a signing at Hanley's.
Yeah, but I didn't go to any signing.
No, they would. I know that Hanley's would have. They've had hate
signings.
They had signings, and then whatever didn't sell went on the rack.
But I already had my copy. I got my copy from a pull list. That's why I just. There's lots of ways I could have got it, I guess. I just don't know which one it was. I was also thinking, I was talking to Roy, my comic shop owner, and I was like, I could have got this from you, because occasionally Roy goes, here, you want an autographed copy of Hate, and just gives it to me. Or, he gives me stuff on occasion, because he and I like the same stuff, and nobody else in the store does. So I'm like, but he has no memory of it if he gave it to me. And if I got it sometime since 2006, I probably would have put it in comics I bought this week, which is a database I can search. So it's like, where did this come from? I have no idea. None.
Amazing.
Crazy. Have you ever gotten something autographed?
I've
Or
I've
found an autographed in your collection and go, huh, wonder where that came from.
most of the ones that I have, I kind of remember getting them.
Yeah.
Mainly because it would be sometimes a like I've gone through like boxes and pull out a book and it's like, why would this be here? And then open it up and it's signed on the inside.
Wow.
And then the next 4 books are also signed. It's like, oh, this is the box I was putting the signed stuff in. And this is back in the day, the early days where they would, open the book and sign on the bottom of the first page before they started signing on the covers. And most of the things that I've gotten signed, and quite a few things, were usually because I would pick it up at a convention and the artist
Mhm.
would be there. It's like, yeah, sign it.
Right.
There would be a few people that I would want autographs from, especially Silver Age artists, so I would
Right.
get them signing them. The only thing that I have signed that I found at Marvel in one of the boxes was an issue of ROM signed by Stan, but I
Okay.
have no way to. It looks like Stan's autograph,
No
but
way to
that's like
verify.
no way to verify. That's the only thing in my collection that I cannot verify. All the other Stanley ones that I have, it's because he signed them in front of me, so I can verify pretty much my whole signed collection. The only one thing I can't verify is that one issue of ROM that looks like it's signed in pen, and it looks like Stan's signature. And again, and finding it at Marvel in a pile of stuff that I was going through. So, but most of everything else, and I think I would say probably 90% of the books that I have signed also say, to Wilson and something written on it. The only one that has written stuff that I don't show to people is the Michael Golden stuff, because he'll write little jokes and thanks for the memories, stuff like that. So those end up being kind of fun, but uh stuff that I just don't share in general. Um yeah. So yeah, I have quite a few things, and over the years there's been like the longest signature I waited for was Frank Miller, because he had a signing at Tower Records one year, and that was like a block. It went around at least 2 corners.
Wow.
So, and that was a good few hours to be online for the Dark Knight Returns 2.
I bet it was a fun time, though.
It was. It was actually a whole lot of fun because it was just because it was Joe Quesada's assistant was like, "Oh, I want to get this signed for Joe because they thought it would be fun." And so she had Frank Miller write, to little Joey, I hope you get into comics one day, or
Alita?
something to that effect. Alita did, yeah.
I think
It was
she's
like,
got a comic coming out.
she probably does. I'm not too, because she
I
last
think
time I
I
spoke
think
to
I
her, she had
ordered it.
quite
I
a
don't
few
I saw
projects.
her name. What was her last name again? Do you remember?
Martinez.
I got something that the final order cutoff was this week, and Arletha Martinez was the artist on it. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, "Oh, that's Aletha. I'll get that." I
Yeah.
didn't know her particularly well, but I saw her, around. She was always like uh hunched over in Joe's office working.
Yes. But she does she has classes, and I usually will sometimes come in and do a talk about lettering for her
Right.
class.
I just learned something about Jack Kirby autographs this week, which coincidentally, Barry Dutter, former Marvel editor who now spends his time dealing in comics and sells a lot of stuff on Facebook. I had a couple of auctions going this week for I think there were Jack Kirby Fourth World #1s. I forget. I forget which of Forever People, Mr. Mirror, whatever they were. But on the first page, they were signed. And what's the guy's name? Oh, it just flew out of my head. The art dealer, Albert
Moy?
Is it Albert Moy? I think it may have been him.
Yeah, he's the only Albert that I'm aware of.
I think it's Albert Moy. I stumbled on a TikTok from him, and he was telling a story about, he learned this directly from Roz, that if you've got a Jack Kirby autograph where the Y, the last stroke in the Y goes straight down, that means Jack signed it. If you've got a Jack Kirby autograph where the last stroke goes down and then across, that's a Roz autograph signing for Jack.
Yeah, so not too many people are aware of this. And I did not know it was common knowledge. But I knew, working in art returns and working, behind the scenes, I did learn a long time ago that there are Roz and Jacks. Now, true Jack Kirby collectors are fine with that.
Right.
They consider that still a Jack's signature.
Right.
Because of just them, the only way to get a Jack sign sometimes was because Roz was taking care of it.
Right.
And so it was like one of those things that was accepted. Now, I thought this was common knowledge when I was talking to a friend of mine who was also a collector, had no idea. And I nonchalantly kind of said, "Oh, by the way, did you know?" "Oh, you know this, right?" And it blew his mind, and he was so crestfallen that it was like, "Oh, this is not common knowledge."
And I think he also said that Roz signed like 80% of the signatures.
From what I understand. And it was like one of those things where it's like, oh, I didn't know it wasn't common knowledge. So I actually stopped telling people about that because I didn't want to go, you may not have a true signature.
You didn't want to be the destroyer of dreams.
Yeah, not that way.
Well, personally, I would not mind having a Roz signature.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Did you notice something in the Kirby Facebook groups? Because there's a guy who keeps posting original covers before they were edited.
Yes, I've been seeing those. Yeah.
Okay, I think that the Stan Lee hate is getting to their heads because they're complaining about things that are alterations which are very minor.
Mm-hmm.
Because they take out some copy, or they move, or they erase some background details, and murdering Jack Kirby. Okay, guys, that's perfectly normal. And here he said that he wanted this out, but in this month it's in. Yeah, we did that in photo covers with cars. And one thing that we took out one month, the next month we probably looked at it. We'll put that thing back on, and it was just whatever we felt like that month.
Yeah.
It's not a big conspiracy. You're just editing a cover, and a lot of covers are edited.
Sometimes you make good choices, sometimes you don't.
And it is sometimes it's just minor, and it doesn't matter at all. You just think, get rid of that, or put that thing back on. It's really not that big a deal. It doesn't really change anything. You're just looking at it and thinking, oh, maybe it'll look better or not. But you're not really. It really doesn't matter.
Editing the covers was the least of Stan Lee's crimes.
Exactly.
That's what it comes down
all
to.
the publishers did it. Every one of those Superman covers were edited. Because they wanted a certain look for Superman.
This I was noticing in this. Vince Coletta inked this, and he did a decent job of it. He wasn't always a horrible inker, but where's that one? That right there is not a Jack Kirby face.
Right.
It's like he redrew that face, you can tell.
Yeah. Yeah, and the hair too.
Yeah. So sometimes it was okay. For the most part, the inking was okay, but it's not as Jack Kirby as some of us would like it to be. But it's nothing I would go, ooh, I don't want to read that. It's got Vince Colletta inks.
Completely destroyed the original meaning.
That and I can't see the original pencil, so I don't know what he left out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
again,
I
it's like,
I do prefer the Mike Royer stuff.
Yeah, of course. But some things Kirby understood. Okay, I'm a commercial artist. They're gonna
Right.
mess with it because
Yeah.
that's what they do.
He may not have been happy about it, but he understood it. Not getting
Sure.
paid for his writing, he wasn't
Yeah.
happy with.
That of course.
That
That, of
really ticked him off.
See, that's actually important.
Yeah.
The editor getting the art back and changing things. It's okay. No, nobody's drawing the Mona Lisa over there. Okay.
Want to see something really? I got a couple of comics here that it must have. I think I got 7 comics at the comic shop, so I must have only had, because there's at least 2 here that I picked up on a whim on when I was final order cutoff, looking for stuff to get. I probably only had 4 or 5, but here is Axicab.
What?
In the Air Tonight and the Warden's Last Ride. Horror. I do cover and art by C. Raygun. I don't know who C. Raygun is.
C. Raygun? I don't
But
know.
his art's kind of cool.
It is. And that looks kind of familiar. But I can't put my finger on it.
It looks like a few different guys. But I guess
now I remember. It reminds me of Painted Sienkiewicz.
Maybe Ted McKeever too.
A bit too, yeah. The cover's more Sienkiewicz, but the interior, I suppose, it's more McKeever.
Maybe a little Ted McKeever-ish.
Yeah, that one definitely more. But not every page. The page to the left page to the one that you just shown was not.
Right. That's a little more Jay Lee. That monster is a little more Jay Lee.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
But that cover is pure Sienkiewicz.
Yeah. That's a little bit of Sienkiewicz there too. Mm-hmm. Drawing in white. But it's a horror anthology. There's 2 stories in it, 2 10-page stories. It's just so weird and silly. It's called Axicab because the Axicab driver is a monster who has tricked out his cab to kill people. He's only killing the deserving. So in the first story, he's killing this guy a warden of a prison who took a bribe to get these killers out. So he got the warden. So he tricked out the cab. So the warden sits in it and gets strapped in, and the backseat of the cab is now an electric chair. And meanwhile, he's going to, the killers are all named spelled differently, but like murder and die, and they all got murderous pun names. And he goes around with giant saws pop out of the cab. The cab's tricked out with chainsaws that can cut people in half. That was the first story. And the second story, what is this guy? He's a this one's nuts. He's a high school swim coach who has the state record for swimming. So whenever some high schooler is in danger, he's in danger of some high schooler breaking his record, he goes and gets a job at that high school as the swim coach and arranges for that high school kid to die in a swimming accident. I don't know how you even come up with such a stupid plot.
Amazing.
So then the AxiCab driver has his back of his cab set up to fill with water so he can drown the swim coach. And for some reason, he also puts on Phil Collins in the air tonight as the swim coach is drowning. Hence the name of the story is In the Air Tonight.
Amazing.
But just a couple of crazy, zany horror stories from AxiCab. I'm not saying I'm buying more issues of it. It was $5, but it was okay. It amused me for $5. Oh, look at this. AxiCab is published by my local hole-in-the-wall comic shop. They do all back issues, no new comics. Okay, Nelco Comics. All right. Let's see,
Neat.
where are they located? San Antonio, Texas. Published by Antarctic Press.
Oh, that's the San Antonio. Antarctic Press is in San Antonio.
Okay. Because now I have access to all this stuff now with that new distributor. There's that new distributor who just, since Diamond went out of business, is only distributing
Filbo?
indie comics.
Filbo?
What was that?
Is it Filbo?
Yeah, it might be Filbo. So my LCS, and I think Antarctic Press like publishes for other because there's other like I guess Antarctic Press has other imprints for they help you out publishing. Whoever Nelco Comics is. So these I could like never get before only because they weren't in the final order cutoff email I usually got. There was indie comics, but not all these stuff from that. Now that there's that one distributor distributing them, Roy puts them in the email. So and the other one I bought from is an Antarctic Press book. Never having picked up an issue before, I bought Ninja High School issue 200. I was like, if it made it to 200 issues, I may as well buy it. And this is the one by Ben Dunn, but the story script is by Alfred Perez, and the colors by Nick Webb. And in the beginning, he gives you a whole story about Ninja High School and how it's changed over the years, because he's recast it over the years. And it, as he said, it started out as a manga parody, and it kind of still is. But in this one, we get a sort of crisis event happening. One of the characters is, where is he? Who Bear Doctor Who. Then we've got, and the villain is this multi-dimensional villain. There's Pooh Bear Doctor Who's ship that's bigger on the inside than the outside. And let's see. The main villain transforms into Dark Phoenix because there's a story about fandom. So first she's Dark Phoenix. They fight as the hero transforms into Chun-Li in this multi-dimensional fan story. Then we've got she transforms then into a Green Lantern to try to fight Phoenix. And then Phoenix finally changes into Thanos. And it
That
What was
is
that?
skirting copyright violation.
Oh yeah, but it's only for one issue, and it fits in with the story because they're at a con where the villain gets powered by fans not liking stuff. And the villain can also spread discontent among the fans. So fans' anger is what powers the villain. But it was well done. I mean, I guess after 200 issues, you'd expect it to be pretty well done. And it was, I got to say, That was just one of those. I'm like, oh, 200th issue of Ninja High School. Have either of you ever? I don't know that I've ever even seen an issue of Ninja High School in real life.
I've seen many issues because I always like the artwork that Ben does, and I know I bought a few of the early issues, and Antarctic Press has done so many things over the years
Oh yeah.
that I always kept an eye on them, and I think they were important when Marvel was doing the manga issues. I
Okay.
think they also had input to them, if I remember correctly. So they've been around for years.
Oh yeah.
As far as like indie creators, they were always around. They had a book I think called Gold Diggers that
Right. That
might
one,
have
I may have bought like a really high issue of that too,
yeah.
a couple years ago. Let me see. I've
And
got that in my database.
and I'm pretty sure I've bought issues over the years here and there just to give them a try, and always enjoyed what they put out.
Darn it, I don't have Gold Diggers in my database. I think I bought an issue of it like 5 years ago. Because I was like, it was like issue like 180 or something. I was like, here's a book I've never bought, even though.
And I think they were also early publishers of manga stuff in general.
Yeah,
I think they had a few licensed things as well.
Also, I think they also did they used to publish Hepcats?
They did.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, because Martin Wagner was in the Atheist Experience, so those were based out of Austin.
Oh, Gore Vidal's here.
Hello.
That's what I love about these high school ninjas, man. I get older and they say the same way. Sensei Wilson. What is that from? Dazed and Confused?
I believe so.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's new ninjas in Ninja High School. I guess there'd be new ninjas in high school for Dazed and Confused too. I get older and they say the same age. Axicab. Have you ever met Ben Dunn or anyone from Antarctic Press, Wilson?
I don't know. They may.
You may have overlapped at some cons.
Maybe. I'm pretty sure of it. I don't recall ever meeting him directly. There could have been a time that he was like toward the Marvel offices.
Yeah.
With CB.
Okay.
But I'm not positive. I am not positive. So I don't think I met him at convention. I'm pretty sure I was at conventions with him there, but I don't think we've ever talked that I can recall.
And is he the one you said was a dentist, Paolo?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you find any sales numbers for that, that thing is not making anybody rich.
But still, to have the time to draw all that stuff, he must spend a lot of, that's not easy. And have a full-time dental job, unless maybe he makes enough money as a dentist that he's only there 2 days a week.
And then spends that money on comics.
Yeah,
getting comics
money
made.
on publishing comics. Ninja High School. Up Gore Vidal. I was at my shop today and saw the new Love and Rockets issue. It comes out next week. I was going to say, I don't think that's out till next week. Did they let you take yours home? Eric says, I've been following a few Antarctic Press titles, horror comics, exciting comics, and Planet comics recently. Okay. Ben Dunn is a very kind guy. He helped me with a book I was trying to do about 20 years ago. LOL. Okay. Yeah, he seemed like he said, I noticed he helps out. Like one of the, when I'm ordering stuff off of that indie distributor, some of it says Antarctic Press, and some of it I'm surprised when I get it, and Antarctic Press has something to do with it. Like, of course, Ninja High School says Antarctic Press, but I don't think Axicab said Antarctic Press, but says so on the back.
Right.
So he must be helping people out, just get their comics out.
Yeah, there is some publishers will have back when Diamond was around, there was some publishers that will help at least distribute someone else's books under their banner,
Right.
just so they can get out there. Sometimes
Right.
they'll put their logo on there, sometimes they wouldn't.
Because they know how to
So,
get it done.
yeah, it's more in the sense of, oh, we'll let you have this space to advertise your book under their banner type
Okay.
of thing, because they may not have enough books selling to warrant their own publishing thing, but another publisher would go, okay, we'll distribute these
Right.
of subcontract kind of distribute. So
Mhm.
I've seen that happen before.
Yeah. Gorvaral says they usually let them take the books home, but I decided to wait. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because one of the fun things about buying periodical comics, unless you're a love to spoil things, is everybody's reading them at the same time. So you can come on and, like, I can read these comics and come on and talk about them with other people who have read the comics this week. So I think that's one of the fun things about comics as periodicals. And one of the things you kind of lose out on when you buy them as trades is not everybody buys the same trade at the same time.
Right.
And it's like you'd have to start a book club if you want to talk about the trades you just bought. Because, yeah, you bought this. And I've seen plenty of people try to start comic book clubs online, but I've never seen one actually go for very long.
When I was on Discord, we did try to get things going, but there were usually no more than 3 of us talking. And then getting everyone together became increasingly difficult.
Yeah.
We ended up quitting.
Yeah, that's the problem with any book club. It's like everybody's. A matter of fact, the cliche on TV is, 4 women. It's always women form a book club and get together to talk about the book, and nobody's read it.
Yeah.
No, it's an excuse to drink red wine.
Right. Gore says only 3 people get it. We try to run into each other to talk about it. Yeah, that's the fun part. So you don't want to be too early with it. Then you run into someone and can't talk to them about it. Oh, I read issue 3? Issue 4, reading 1 issue a week of Eclipse. And this is, I don't know if you guys have ever seen these bags before. This is a 1 mil Mylar bag. They're the cheapest Mylar bags you can get. I don't even know if they make them anymore, but they're just so thin. And they can tear on you at the seams. And I just hate these 1 mil Mylar bags. They're just, listen to that. You can hear the thinness of them. But this is a Carl Potts cover.
Nice.
This is one of the first things he did, too. There's a little story in here about how they got this, before he ever worked at Marvel. And he was walking around with his Alien Legion stuff to show off, which he eventually got a deal with someone to do. Was it Alien Legion or was it The Last Samurai? What was it?
It was Alien Legion. Yeah, something called.
No, it was The Last of the Dragons, something even earlier.
That came out in Epic Illustrated.
Right, a long time after this, I think. But they said he made a deal with Epic in this.
Not a long time.
My sense of time is messed up. I don't know what
it's probably around that time. It should probably be around 83, 84. So
this is 81.
Okay, yeah. So it came out around 16 to 20 of Epic Illustrated. So that would have been around 82, 83, 82 maybe. Yeah, and Potts came up with the plot, but Danny O'Neill wrote the script. I can't remember who drew it, and then it all got collected in one of the Marvel graphic novels. Alien Legion was made for Epic. Potts came up with the concept, but he did not write or draw anything.
Hold on, I have to blow my nose, so keep talking.
I've never read Last of the Dragon, so I don't know what's in it. Alien Legion, I had some stories. Alien Legion, I had some stories in a Brazilian magazine, but and it was interesting, but I ended up not getting to the end of it. I remember when I saw that thing was being reprinted, and I only noticed when the final volume came out, and then, oh man, I missed getting Alien Legion. Now I can't get it because it was Checker books, and you know that Checker books did those reprints that were not very, very high quality.
Oh yeah, I remember them. But in this, we've got Destroyer Duck on the back. We read you off the stories. We have got Coyote, Chapter 3, Steve Englehart and Marshall Rogers. It's finally starting to make a little sense. This Coyote was a weird story. I think there was a lot of cocaine involved with Marshall Rogers at this time, if the stories are true.
And probably Englehart. I think Englehart was part of at Marvel was part of the crew that did chemical experimentation.
Yeah. Kon-Tiki, Part 1 by Hunt Emerson. I don't remember that one. What one was that? Oh, that was the really weird underground comics looking one.
Oh, and Emerson is English.
I don't know that name.
Yeah, I think I saw him in some Vertigo's.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I think I saw his name in an issue of A1, which was a British anthology.
I remember that. The Demon Chronicles by Alex Simmons and James Sherman. James Sherman, I think, did some stuff.
Yeah, he inked stuff at Marvel. Some Dave Cockrum X-Men, and 1 or 2 issues of Paris' Avengers.
And this is a whole like demon hunting organization story. You know, like we've got this secret organization that hunts evil creatures. It was fun. What else do we have here? Dirty Pool by Larry Rippey. That looks like a short one. Okay, that's definitely an underground comics related one. It was a story about a bunch of pool balls on a pool table and what happens to them as they slowly get knocked into the pockets. That was just, 2 pages of fun filler.
And it looks like that those balls don't have much of a long-term memory.
No.
Otherwise, I'd remember that always happens to them.
A Fistful of Grave Dirt by Don McGregor and Billy Graham. I think this one had some different sort of art in it from Billy Graham. that's got this cartoony.
Oh,
It even reminds me of sort of Will Eisner at times.
Yeah.
even the layouts don't look Billy Graham.
Yeah, the layouts look Will Eisner. I mean, look at those faces there.
Uh-huh. Was a think it.
So this very definitely not Panther's Rage, Billy Graham,
No.
but interesting stuff. And it was about these two high school kids who wanted to cast a luck spell, so they were going to the graveyard to get graveyard dirt. And of course, they're scared the whole time and end up scaring themselves. Dope by Trina Robbins continues, and some really nice Trina Robbins art in this. Her art looks good at this larger size in black and white. I still might have to get the collected edition of this from a few years ago because I've never read the whole story. And this one is about how the main character gets hooked on opium. By the way, is Dope a famous book by Sax Rohmer?
Not that I know of.
I've never heard of it besides this.
I have not either.
I always wondered that.
Let me go to fantastic fiction. Trying to figure out what that thing
A
is.
Victorian Murder by Rick Geary. Rick Geary is one of my favorites. And I guess this was because I have up there 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, maybe 20 volumes of Rick Geary's murder books where he does real life crime in a graphic novel. This must have been the beginning of it because we get this isn't quite real life crime, but we get a 3-page story of a murder.
Kind of funny. So Dope came out in 1919.
Wow.
Which was right after the first 3 Fu Manchu novels. So he may have already, he probably wanted to do something different.
Huh.
And Dope had, story of Chinatown and the drug traffic. First book in the Red Carey series. Kazma, the Dream Reader, and other memorable characters populate this tale of terror as sinister Eastern forces work to control the West through the opium trade. Sax Rohmer, creator of Fu Manchu, returns to the Yellow Menace theme that so characterized his work. So I guess it probably was good, but people didn't pay attention. And there's a sequel that called Yellow Shadows, came out in 25. So I guess these did not sell as well as the Fu Manchu books. But he has a few other things in here. So there's something called Batwing.
So Dope must have been in the public domain in 1981 because the copyright is Trina Robbins. And I know they've lengthened the copyright term in the US over the last 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine it was in the public domain when she started this story.
So let's see, 75. It was not. It was not in the public domain.
I don't know what I'd have to look that up. What the term is. A term used to be like 50 years, I think.
It was. So it's 50. Okay, so in normal world, it's 50 years after the death of the author. Which got extended to 70.
In the U.S., it's the death of the. There's no death. It's 50 years or something. However many.
It was date of publication. So
publication.
But these things were published in the UK before they were published in the US. So I don't know when they were published in the US.
I just got to figure. She wouldn't license it.
No,
I don't know.
But then again, the reason why it never got reprinted is probably because if they had put that thing in a book, Rohmer probably would have. Rohmer's estate would have noticed.
Who knows? I just never thought of that before this moment.
Yes, because you remember that. So that thing took forever to come out.
Yeah, took decades. Could have been in the public domain by the time she finished it. Gore Vidal, Last of the Dragons was one of the reasons I read Epic. I liked it a lot. When my family used to take vacations, we used to go camping up in Wilmington Notch, which is right next to Lake Placid, which is where the 1980 Winter Olympics were. So famous. Lake Placid is a pretty famous New York town. I ain't calling it a city, it's a town. So that's where we used to go camping. And my favorite part of camping was going into town and going to the newsstand where I could buy comics. And one of the comics I bought in, I guess it was the summer of 1980, was Epic Comics #2, the magazine. And I read that thing to death. I still have the copy with tape on the edges because I read that thing to death in our 2 weeks at camping over and over and over. So that's the reason that I was reading Epic Illustrated, was that camping trip I took where I found it on the newsstand. Then the last one is another Ms. Tree story. Or I should say continuation of the Ms. Tree story. A matter of fact, they announce at the end, somewhere in here, that Ms. Tree is going to have its own series soon. So that's when I started. I put Ms. Tree on my pull list. And I had forgotten the Mike Mist Minute Mysteries. That used to, I guess it was someone else's book, but it also used to, there's an issue here you could get from my clips. And it also used to run in Ms. Tree where there was like a 1-page mystery. And I think if I remember right, they'd give you the solution to the mystery written upside down at the bottom of the page or something like that. I haven't thought about those since the 80s, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's how it went. Mike Missed Minute Mysteries. That was along with Ms. Tree. It must have started before her because there was you could get #1 here for $1.50. But I'm going to read issue #5 next. This is one of the ones I recently got. I was missing and got because I see here on the back that this cost me $8.05. Clips magazine. I think I got this and one other. Recently, I've been putting receipts in the back if I get something off eBay, just so I know. I started that with the Walking Dead ones. Let's see, 62 Lefty Blues. Fantagraphics has Lost Marvel's Savage Tale from the 1980s, all 8 issues, and an oversized hardcover coming out in February. I saw that. That had some good stuff in it because
Yeah.
in like the mid 80s, Marvel did that. There was a bunch of like Russ Heath did some stuff and all sorts of other interesting people. Fantagraphics certainly has been mining some of Marvel's more obscure backlist for its books.
Yeah, I read some of those stories in the Brazilian magazines. They did a few of they published all of the Blood and Guts stories because Will Jenkins, he died pretty young. In the first issue, the last issue was finished by his friends. I read some of the creator of Blood and Guts, Will Jenkins.
Okay. I think I know that name.
Yeah, I don't remember anything else he did, but I like Blood and Guts, and I've seen people discuss it and the guy was a favorite. He could have gone on to bigger things. He died at, I think it was he wasn't even 30.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I also remember fifth to the first, which is the prototype to the Nam.
Okay.
And
There
there
was
were
a Civil War story.
Civil War story.
I think that's the one Russ Heath may have done. I'm not 100% sure, but I remember being a U.S. Civil War story.
some John Severin stories. A couple were westerns, and one was set after World War II. There was a guy hunting a Nazi commander who had who had sort of been allowed to live in France because he had joined the French Foreign Legion, which is kind of weird because the French Foreign Legion specifically forbade former Nazis from joining them. Because if you joined the French Foreign Legion, your criminal record was erased. And if you were not French, you would get French citizenship. But they were not going to let Nazi soldiers do that.
I think also in there was some of the USS Stevens stories that I have because I have the big collected edition of that was put out by some other company. Who did the Sam Glasman?
Yeah.
And I think when I read that, it said some of those were from Savage Tales. Because Sam Glasman was he did most of them at DC in their war books, and they were just autobiographical stories about serving in the Pacific on the USS Stevens. And so he just continued it whenever he could because there wasn't any IP there. So when I forget who collected it all in one volume, but it was a good volume. It was like a sneaky graphic novel.
Wasn't it Fantagraphics?
No, I think it was someone. Let me walk back and pull it off the shelf and look. I know where that one is.
See, that's how you do an actual interesting autobiographical comic, not whatever it is that Harvey Pekar thought he was doing.
It was Dover Press.
Oh, man, that thing
You
is.
see if it tells me. Lots of stuff in DC. First appearance was in Dell, Combat number 16. Couple of Dell issues. Then it went to Our Army at War in 1970, and then this is all whole bunch of DC stuff, short stories. This is all Star Spangled War stories, Our Army at War. So he did most of this in the DC war books. And then here we go. In This Gentlemanly Way, Savage Tales number 7 from Marvel, and Rescued by Luck, Savage Tales number 8 by Marvel. Then something from Joe Kubert Presents. So this, if you've never read this, it's a really good read. It's a whole bunch of short stories about him serving on the USS Stevens. So it's sort of, there's no sort of overall plot, but overall it's like a sneaky graphic novel. He just kept doing stories about the USS Stevens. Getting cold out there.
Oh yeah.
I've got a lot of bookcases up against outside walls. So in the winter, when I pull a book out, I can feel the cold. Let's see. What else did I get this week? Babs, the Black Road South. This is the second volume of this by Garth Ennis and Jason Burrows. And it's sort of a comedy barbarian story. Babs, she's our barbarian. And she's going on an adventure with her friend. Oh, cutting off some heads too. There's her friend. But then they the whole story, like I said, is them. She was getting revenge on some childhood guy who bullied her. And then her and her friend there make some really big score. I forget what made a really big score. All of a sudden they had a lot of money. They're staying in this hotel. This rich people hotel. They're having a good time. They're going out drinking. Except they woke up hungover one morning and had no idea where their money was. So they decided to trace their steps from the last night before. And it turns out they gave all their money to a guy who finances treasure expeditions. So all their money is where they basically invested in this treasure expedition. And they're like, oh, crap. So now I think they're going along with them on the treasure expedition to make sure they can get their money back. Because all the guys in the treasure expedition already spent the money upgrading their gear. Because they really think they're going to go out and get treasure. It was a funny issue. I look forward to the rest of the series. Didn't even know it was coming out. Oh, Ahoy Comics. That's why I didn't know it was coming out. I pay almost no attention to Ahoy Comics. And then, as Wilson mentioned earlier, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees was out. And this issue takes a turn and gets really bloody. That right there is our main character, she's a serial killer in this world of, and in the first series, we were kind of rooting for her because she was up against another serial killer who was not quite as pleasant as she was. But in this series, we're rooting against her because she's that right there is a woman whose brother went missing and the serial killer killed him. So she's coming up to this town years later. She's been hunting for what happened to her brother who just disappeared. And the serial killer's been kind of leading her on. We expect the serial killer to eventually kill her. But in this issue, there was a turn. I don't really want to give it away, but it got real bloody. Good stuff. What is this? Issue 5. I think there's one more issue of this. But speaking of when Wilson said he didn't want to start in the middle, I actually started in the middle of the first minute. I just remembered that now. I think like issue 4 of the first series was the first issue I bought, just because I heard so much about it. And I was like, I may as well buy an issue. I'll track down the other ones later.
Does that book have multiple covers? Because that's not the cover I saw.
Multiple covers, yeah.
Because the cover I saw was more of a, I mean, it is a cartoony bear, but it was more children's book looking, and she had a shovel.
Let's see. Nope, let's see if they have them in the back. There we go. I see the one. Whoops. That was the one you probably saw, right?
Yes, and I was really tempted to pick that one up.
And here are the other two. I guess they got a movie cover and a regular one. But yeah, this is a good series. Definitely worth a pickup. Of course, the first series is out in trade already, and this one will be soon too. One more thing I did buy this week, but it hasn't arrived yet. Actually, 2 things haven't arrived yet. Do you remember last week when I showed off that Nexus book I got?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, that, of course, got me to pull out some of my Nexus issues, just because, feeling nostalgic. That's a series I want to reread one day. And by the way, the original issues of Nexus are dirt cheap. You can get the entire 80 issue run for $1 a piece on eBay plus shipping. So like $100 for 80 issues. I was like, oh, I have them all. Of course, don't need them. But my first issue is a little, there's a lot of scuffs on the front of it. And that's how I got it back in 1983 or whenever I got it. So I was like, how much does a mint condition issue of Nexus #1 go for? And I found one from that same seller who I got that Box Office Poison mint condition issue #1. And that one was in tip-top shape. So I'm like, you know what? It was like $10. I think it was $12 with shipping. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get a mint condition Nexus #1.
Yeah, why
just
not?
for the heck of it. So I ended up ordering them. And then it sat in that guy's post office all week. It was supposed to be here today. But it was one of those, I don't know if you ever had a case like that, where you're like, label is made. Post office, it's in the post office, and then just nothing. Yeah, every time you check, it's like it hasn't left the post office. So finally, they sent me a message this week, the tracking, whoever. It's like, it's on its way. I'm like, what did it do for 4 days? I hope it's still in mint condition.
Yeah. I've had stuff like, get delayed at the post office, but not for too long of a time.
Well, that's right. Monday, no mail service. I think it's supposed to be here now by Saturday, so we'll see. But the other thing I got, if you remember our world premiere of Little Lotta 121, the comic that never was printed, that I found the production negatives for, and
Right.
scanned them in and made a printout. Well, the seller of this, I swear I'm the only one who bought one. Because he's got a bunch of production negatives from this era from Harvey Comics, which I, of course, put on my, I've had them bookmarked forever. And finally I was like, and I had a few of them that I was like, oh, I want to get these maybe. But I'm like, new semester, I'm going to be teaching pre-press again this spring. So I'm like, why don't I buy some new ones? I'll show them how to scan them in and put them together. Teach them how CMYK works.
Right.
So I went on there, and I think it was weird too, because he just refunded me $3. I don't know why. Because I think there was it was like $34 plus $12 shipping plus tax. It was like $48. But then I just got refunded $3. I don't know, maybe felt guilty about $12 shipping on something that wouldn't cost $12 to ship, but I got $3 back. So now I have, what is it? Spooky Spooktown, number 63, the negatives to the printing plates coming. So hopefully I'll get those next week, but I'm going to bring them in and show my students how to scan them in and put them together. So put the cyan plate in the cyan channel, the magenta plate in the magenta channel, yellow plate, and then it turns into a colored cover. But I've been meaning to get but I swear all the same ones that were there last year are here this year.
Yeah.
No one's buying them but me. So maybe, in 10 years, I'll have them all.
Yeah, you might have them all locked down.
Because he's got a bunch of them. I wonder where they came from.
Sure, it was probably found in a warehouse or something.
Yeah.
Like it found a stack of negatives.
Someone, I don't know where's I don't have to look where the comic shop is. Let me see. Purchase history. The seller is Basement Comics. Where are they? It doesn't tell me here. It tells you on the... Oh, here's a page from Spectacular Spider-Man 141. They're in Edgewood, Maryland. So I don't know if Dell was anywhere, or their printer was anywhere near Edgewood, Maryland. I have no idea.
Or it could be where the film was made.
Yeah. Because finds like those are usually local, I think. Unless there was maybe a collector in Edgewood, Maryland. Who knows? But Basement Comics is the only one who's got negatives of Dell Comics that I've seen. Production negatives.
Yep. I've seen some people have production stuff from animated studios for Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
And then occasionally some other production things will pop up, but they're not too sure how real they are production-wise. Because it's like, oh, it looks like they might have found a black plate somewhere.
Right.
But they're smaller than they should be, and they don't look like they're from a normal printing thing. So it's like, oh, they might have, got their hands on a black plate, and they're just printing them on acetate.
Yeah.
And calling it a day. I've seen a few of those.
Yeah. And let's see the last comic I got for this week. We've got some new Stefano Cardacelli from Mad Cave Studios, Mike Martz. I wonder who's the Stefano Cardacelli fan there. He's the guy who gave us our flamingos and our Reed Rippin slabs. It's written by, what's the guy's name? Written by Francesca Perillo, artist Stefano Cardacelli, colorist Lorenzo Scaramella, and letterer Buddy Bedouin. Sounds like an Italian team. And there's a map in the front. Woohoo! Who doesn't love a map of New York City? And here's what this comic is about. There's Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, and down there's the incinerator and the dark cage. Toxic nuclear waste over the rainbow. And there's this one, the rainbow area. Docile robots who live in the rainbow area. I'm just a big fan of his artwork. I just find it fun and loose, and he's a good storyteller. There's a nice panel. So this story is takes place in the future in New York City, where there's two types of robots. There's docile servant robots, and there's robots that used to be used in war. And the robots who used to be used in war, they live on a dump in the dark cage area. So they just live on it, they're just by themselves in the dump. And then the area outside there are the docile robots who have jobs in New York City. And they commute into New York City and then come home. And they live in the rainbow area. But they don't mix with humans. So, the docile ones do for their jobs, but once they're at home, it's all robots. And the war robots don't really leave their little part of the island. They stay there because no one wants them around. But meanwhile, one day, this robot, Ralph here on the cover, finds a baby abandoned in the dump where the robots live. So, of course, he takes the baby home. And they've been raising this little girl. I don't know how old she is, about 8. So they've just been raising, this little girl has been raised with the robots for 8 years. And for some reason, the robots really can't fix each other. So when they run down, they get into a little trouble. But she turns out, since she's living with robots, she gets really good at fixing robots. So she's like part of the robot community. Everybody loves her. She's just living her life, doesn't know about the humans really on the other part of town. But then at the end, the twist is the war robots find out she exists and are like, ooh, she can fix robots. We want her. So they want to go kidnap her. And meanwhile, at the very last panel, she meets this little boy through the edge of the. Who is the little boy on the front? Well, I guess she's the girl. Which I can't tell which is which on this. So it was just this really nice, cute story, which we'll see what kind of dark turns it takes. And like I said, I really enjoy the Stefano Cardacelli art. So this one went on the pull list as soon as I saw it. Want to finish up with a Reed, Rip, and Slab?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me see what I got here. Get rid of these. What do I have? Oh, geez, I have so many windows open. Where are my Reed, Rip, and Slabs? Let's go with... Ooh. Weird first issues from July 1972. Let me open that up.
How weird.
Oh, they're weird. I don't know that I've heard of them. He asks how weird. Now we'll show him.
Is any of them in Charlton?
One's a Dell. Let's see. Dell, Harvey, and Gold Key. Now that's weird. Let me share my screen. Dun, dun, dun. We've got Friday Foster, #1, Jack Sparling. Richie Rich Bank Book, #1. And Lidsville, #1. Photo cover. How is that for a collection of oddities?
Friday Foster.
Is that TV tie-in?
TV?
I'm
No,
guessing so, but
movie.
I don't know what it is. Movie? Oh, okay.
Movie, yeah.
Movie tie-in?
Yeah, it's a Pam Grier movie. It's a Pam Grier movie.
Oh, okay.
Is that a camera she's holding or a microphone?
I believe it's
Yeah,
a camera.
because she does. This is the one blaxploitation movie she's in, where she's not a tough as nails fighter girl.
Ah.
She's a journalist, and she gets held at gunpoint, and she doesn't use violence to solve the crime.
Ah. And Lidsville was a TV show. I think it was a Sid and Marty Krofft one.
Correct.
With those giant live action.
Is that a rabbit?
I think so.
Most likely it's a rabbit.
What are those?
A giant turd of some kind?
It's a hat. Lidsville's, they were supposed to all be hats. And again, this is when you
Lidsville. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you get when you have a creator whose one guy has money and the other one's smoking pot. That's the only thing I could even possibly think of how Sid and Marty Krofft exists. That's the joke of it. That they had various shows. I don't recall Lidsville's all that much. I don't think it was as popular as Sigmund the Sea Monster or HR Puffin stuff.
Yeah, I've heard people mention it over the years, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, Lidsville I never saw, but from what I understand, they were all supposed to be hats.
Yeah, that white one down the bottom is a cowboy hat with a face on the top.
Yes. My personal favorites was the Bugaloos and HR Puffin stuff. I am going to...
Which one do you think is worth the most money? If you had a 9/8 of all three of these, Which do you think would bring you the most money? I think Lidsville.
I'm going to go for Richie Rich.
Yeah. No,
I
that
think
thing's a spin-off.
I just think
spin-off book,
Lidsville.
yeah.
If you had a 9/8 Lidsville, you'd get the TV crossover fans. Maybe there have to be a few Lidsville fans out there.
Yeah, I would guess so.
But there's still plenty of Pam Grier fans too. And that's a Pam Grier
Yeah.
cover.
It is a Pam Grier cover that's illustrated. That might be the first illustrated Pam Grier.
First appearance, Pam Grier.
And first
Holy
appearance.
cow.
Yeah. So that's why I would slab that one.
That is definitely a quiet key right there. Nobody knows about it.
No, that thing came out before 3 years before the movie. There's no movie yet. That's why she doesn't look like Pam Grier.
Ah.
Quiet.
Oh yeah,
that's why it's a quiet key. It's a hidden key.
Basement. A hidden key.
It's a hidden key. Yeah. So I would slab that one.
So if that came out 3 years before the movie, what are they adapting?
Probably a book.
Probably, yeah, it makes more sense. So let me check here.
Or was it a comic?
Oh, Friday.
Strip?
It's a comic strip.
There we go. Yeah, Friday Foster was a newspaper strip we just got here from Don. Who's ready to hit us with a brick, I can tell.
Oh, so it's like one of those first, comic first to movie.
I'm still saying it's the first appearance of Pam Grier in comics. I don't care. 5 and 9/8, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I definitely slab that one.
Yes. That thing. Yeah. Visually, that's the best cover. Yeah.
It is, but I'm still slabbing Lidsville because I'm going for the money.
Yeah. I'm going to read Richie Rich.
Yeah, me too.
And unfortunately, have to destroy the Lidsville.
If I can find a rich stoner.
I have no compunction about destroying that Lidsville. That cover is nightmare fuel. I want that thing out of my sight.
No way. Right. That's the one to slab. Rich stoners.
No.
We got to find out if anyone has slabbed that and what is the price of it.
Someone must have slabbed that at some time. I'm slabbing Lidsville, reading. I guess I'm reading Friday Foster and ripping up Richie Rich.
I'm slabbing Friday Foster, reading Richie Rich, even though it's Richie Rich, and I'm definitely ripping Lidsville.
I have a tiny bit of nostalgia for Richie Rich, tiny bit, not a lot. But as a kid, I read a few Richie Rich books and enjoyed them.
Like, I know if I had a pile of Harvey books, I would definitely read Richie Rich from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would not read Hot Stuff.
Hot Stuff was my favorite as a kid, so
I would read Hot Stuff.
Matter of fact, if you remember, I bought a Hot Stuff comic last year at some time, I think.
There was an indie comic magazine called Hot Stuff in the 70s, but it was Hot Stuff with just one F and an apostrophe after the F. And I found out that there was a cartoonist named Bill Maher who worked on it, but it's not the Bill Maher.
Right.
Hot Stuff. So I am going to Dolphin. I was going to Dolphin Gloria, but no, I'm going to Dolphin the ice cream salesman, and but he's going to keep the ice cream backpack.
I was just thinking the same thing. Richie can be buying some ice cream off of a Dolphin. I'm gonna Dolphin that camera that Friday Foster has, because it's just too dangerous for a woman to go around getting into trouble being an investigator.
That's what her boss tells her. I thought about putting the flamingos on Friday Foster, but no, the flamingos are going on Lidsville. The flamingos are going on Lidsville to try to normalize it.
See, I'm putting the flamingos on the beach with Richie because they deserve a good beach day. Those flamingos, they'll blend right in.
They'll blend right in. They should be having ice cream.
I'm being nice to those flamingos this week.
Enjoying their day at the beach.
They can even wear shades.
Yeah. I don't want them chased around by Friday Foster. Now I'm looking at that Friday Foster cover. One of those guys looks like she's got an angel and a devil on her shoulders.
That Friday Foster that cover makes absolutely no sense. That's the Jack Sparling cover. She didn't draw the newspaper strip. He didn't draw the newspaper strip, I mean.
What did he draw? I know his name, but I can't place him with anything.
DC War Stories, I think.
Okay. Did he do any Marvel Westerns?
He may have, but not many.
Yeah, then I must know him from the DC War Stories. What do you think the odds are that Ernie Colon drew that Richie Rich? Because it was uncredited, and he's the only Richie Rich artist I can name. And I only found out he drew Richie Rich years on into me knowing his work. I first remember him from Amethyst Princess of Gen World, and then all the stuff he did after that. But he worked on Richie Rich in the 70s. And of course, that Lidsville had to be an in-house designer. Oh, look at that. Sparling did a lot of work for National Lampoon. Don tells us. Comics progressive.
Lidsville is written by Don R. Christensen with art by Roger Armstrong. I have no idea who those are.
No, don't recognize either of them.
Apparently, Roger Armstrong also drew Bucky Bug. Haven't seen that in a while.
There was just somebody else who I heard. I know nothing about National Lampoon. My friend Bunch is a National Lampoon encyclopedia. He knows a lot about it. I just never read them. And I'm always hearing, and he's always saying to me when he did a lot of work for National Lampoon. So I've heard that statement a lot. He did a lot of work for not in reference to Jack Sparling, but in reference to so many cartoonists who I didn't know worked for National Lampoon. And I just heard it this week about another cartoonist, but I cannot remember for the life of me who it was.
Lidsville lasted for 5 issues.
5 issues of Lidsville. Have any of them been slabbed?
I don't know. But here's the funny thing. The last issue has a drawn cover.
Oh, wow.
And it's even scarier than the photo covers. Yeah, I hope that if that thing ever gets collected into a trade paperback in several Demons from Hell.
Looks like CGC database. There are a few issues slabbed for Lidsville 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Looks like there's a total of 10 have been slabbed for number 1. 2 have been slabbed that had signatures.
Wow, signatures.
And then issue 3 has 2 issues slab. Issue 4 has 4 issue slabs. Issue 4 also has a signature slab. Issue 4 has 5 slabbed, and then issue 5 has 4 slabbed. Now this doesn't tell me the exact number.
Doesn't tell you the grades?
It tells me the highest grade issue number 1 has is a 9.8.
Look at that. $1 million. That guy's got $1 million comic. If you can find some rich stoner.
Okay. The main story on that Richie Rich book is called A Wizard Named Watusi.
Ah. Is that Friday Foster a collection of comic strips, or are they new stories?
It's a new story. It's the only one. The comic strip was drawn by Jim Lawrence, who was a UK artist.
Okay. And that's the only issue of Friday Foster?
Yeah.
One and done.
Mhm.
A silent key. First Pam Grier in comics. Sticking with that. Sticking with it.
I found some 8.0s for Foster. So on eBay, the eBay person wants just under $400
For Friday Foster, 8.0?
for Friday Foster. Yeah.
Wow. But none of them sold.
Not that I could see.
So for $400, you can get yourself an 8.0 Friday Foster. That was an interesting one. I liked those comics.
Yeah, those
Weird
are wild.
stuff.
Those I would not pick up at any point. Maybe the Richie Rich if I saw that
Never
out and
saw it.
about.
But I think I did a good job of getting equally weird stuff. Equally
Yeah, I
weird
think
number
so.
ones. Because that's the
Alright,
key to a
so
good read, rip, and slab is not having one be obvious that nobody wants.
so Raw issues, looks like they average as low as $74 and as high as $165.
For Friday Foster?
Friday
That
Foster,
sounds
number
like
one, sold January 5th.
Wow.
Yeah, 165. Most of
That
the
sounds
other
like a
ones
lot
were
to me,
best offer
$75.
made. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a fan out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And it looks like all the ones that sold in the past have went on bidding and $44, 130. Nope, that's the wrong book.
Oh wait, this Jim Lawrence is American.
150.
He did.
It says scarce, but you know.
Okay,
Whatever
so
that means.
the guy who created the Friday Foster strip is not the British Jim Lawrence. Is American.
Oh, there's a different Jim Lawrence.
Yeah, and he did a James Bond strip before Friday Foster.
Ah.
Yeah, he was the writer. The artist was called Jorge Longaron.
All right. We should wrap it up for the week. Next week we'll be on Paolo's channel.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the week after, too, because there's 5 Fridays in this month. So I don't think my StreamYard time rolls over till the next Friday. Let's see. Don says, there's a niche market for black character comics. Yeah, the Western Lobo is another pricey one. All right. I can understand that. It's a nice cover, too. Let's get some confetti going. All right. Some lasers. And some rain. We got to do it all. They got to put some new ones in here. Come on,
Wonder if
rain.
that's something that you would have to download or something like that.
I don't know. It's built into the operating system. I can't get my rain going. Built into the operating system. So maybe with the latest update they did. I'll have to check.
I have a cover coming out. I don't know exactly when, but I have the Thundar the Barbarian cover coming out from Dynamite Entertainment. I believe it's the exclusive cover to Dynamite's website's show on Whatnot. I forget what.
So they're making it hard to get.
Yes. I'm waiting to actually get all the information of when the show is happening. But when the book comes out, I think in 2 weeks or so, issue number 1 will be out. At least I'll be in the cover gallery.
Okay.
It will be the last cover.
You did the coloring on it, you said?
I did the coloring on it. Mariano Nizieza did the pencils. Joe Diablo.
Mariano draws?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
He has a Kirby-ish type of style.
Okay.
So Mariano did the pencils. Joe Bato did the inks, and I did the coloring on it. Everything was put together in the last minute, so
Yeah.
I don't know how many hours we all put into it, but I think it came out pretty good. It's very Kirby inspired since he did a lot of the designs for Sundar, the
Okay.
character designs for Sundar the Barbarian. So to see it in print will be easy to get. And then once I get more information on how to order it, I think, like as I mentioned, it's listed as a dynamite.com exclusive.
All right.
That will be coming out soon.
We'll keep our eyes open for that and give the people more information as the day comes closer that it comes out. My
Yes.
hair is awfully frizzy tonight. All
All
right.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Everybody have a good week out there, and we'll catch you on Paulo's channel next week. Hey, where'd my cursor go? It disappeared. I can't stop the show. There's the cursor.
It's going to go on
keep
forever.
moving these little